Welcome back to the BHS PawCast. This is episode 10. I'm Jacob, and I'm here with Carson, Christos, Joey, and special guest Marvin Thompson. Hello.
Hi, how you doing? Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
Of course.
Let's just jump straight into questions. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Absolutely. So I'm a certified financial planner here in Burlington, and I'm the owner and CEO of Great River Investments. So basically what my job is I work with people and families on their money situations, helping them get from point A to point B. Point A is usually a starting point, point B
Right.
the retirement stuff, and everything in between. So, yep.
Nice. How did you how did going to BHS kind of like get you into financial planning?
Great question. So when I was a student at BHS, I really tried to load up on the business courses. Okay, I took everything from typing back in the day to accounting to business, finances, financial math, anything that the school offered, I pretty much took. Okay. Originally, when I left BHS, I wanted to be an attorney, but ironically enough, the first class I took was a business law class, and I found it so incredibly boring that I decided to change my major over to finance. Okay, and then I spent the next 4 years of my college career studying finance and trying to learn as much as I can about the stock market and how all this stuff works.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what made you want to stay in Burlington?
So believe it or not, I did not stay in Burlington.
Really?
Oh.
Yep. Nope. So when I graduated BHS, I went to Loras College for a year and a half to originally to play football. But that did not work out so well for me because I like to have a little too much fun in college. So my parents brought me back, and I spent 2 years at SEC getting my associate's degree, and then I went to Western Illinois. So I was actually on the 5-year college plan. But I was one of those students who said, I'm never going to live in Burlington, Iowa. No way. There's nothing here for me and so forth. So graduated over at Macomb, immediately went to Chicago, started working in the insurance and financial business up in Chicago, and was there for about 7 years. That job promotion led me back to the Quad Cities. And then once the kind of life proceeded to having kids and stuff, it was, let's pull back to Burlington where there's family around here.
Right.
It's a much more comfortable environment to raise
Absolutely.
kids in than
Absolutely.
Chicago would have been.
Yeah.
Even though I was in the nice western suburbs, it was still a little bit better. So,
Right.
so yeah. Why did I move back to Burlington? Because it's home. It really is. It's
There you
home.
go.
It's got that homey feeling. It's got everything I need. So, yep.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Knowing what you do now, what advice would you give high school students about their future and careers?
Knowing now what I know.
Or
Say that again?
us knowing what you do now, what advice would you give high school students about their future and careers?
Life is going to start moving by really quickly for you guys. I know right now you're sitting in class and you're looking at the clock going, God, this day's never going to end.
Yeah.
Pretty soon you're going to blink and you're going to be, 20 years old and then 30 years old and 40 years old.
Right.
So I know it's cliche to say this, but you got to find something you're passionate about. When we were talking earlier about your jobs and what you're thinking about doing, you got to keep in mind that you're going to be doing these things day after day, 5-6 days a week for sometimes 8 to 10 hours a day. You got to be super passionate about it, and don't let anybody persuade you from your dreams. Okay, Joey, if your dream is to work in the media relations area, be the best at it you can possibly be. Don't let anybody tear it down. Don't let anybody tear your ideas down. Don't let friends tear them down, parents, anything. Because in your heart, it's the right thing for you to do for the rest of your life. So be passionate, find what you love, always be willing to accept change. Change is just a natural part of life. So it's going to come, it's going to go. So,
Absolutely.
but, yep. So I was actually very impressed with all you guys' ideas for future careers. It's perfect. Absolutely.
So I know your kids went to BHS. They probably told you some stories. So how have things changed since you went to BHS?
Well, they have changed and they haven't changed.
Yeah.
Okay. It was funny when my kids were going through BHS just a year ago, actually, for my son. It's funny because there's still groups of students. There's still what we used to call cliques in school.
Yeah.
Okay. Social media has made that a little bit easier for everybody to kind of connect more across the spectrum. When I was in school, it was just, we had the guys who played sports, we had the guys who worked in the welding department, we had the guys who liked to skateboard and things like that, Was there a lot of interaction between that? No. Things that have changed since then is I see it's a much more cohesive unit of students, What I really like to see is everybody supports each other. That's fantastic. It's fantastic. So that's probably the biggest change I've seen is, just the way social media has kind of brought all the students together. I don't want to use the word fighting, but it's almost like you're working towards a unified goal to be the best
Yeah.
school in the area, which is just awesome. Just
That's
awesome.
cool. And we see that with like the basketball team just yesterday beat Muscatine to move on in the playoffs,
Yeah.
and they beat them pretty good.
31.
Yeah.
They beat them by 31 points?
Yeah.
31 point
Hey, that's
victory.
pretty okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty okay. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite memories from when you were in high school?
High school for me was pretty fun. I mean, the best parts, I guess, for me were not so much the class, because I was not a great student by any means, but it was the outside activities. Like, you mentioned basketball games. I don't know if you still do this or not, but we used to have a beach night. Where there was like a theme or something for a basketball game.
Yeah.
Those were fun times. I was in band for a couple of years, so we would take band trips. Our band took a trip to the Gator Bowl. We played in the Gator Bowl as a
cool.
marching band.
Yeah.
That was super fun.
Yeah.
Of course, playing football, having all the relationships with the guys on the teams and the managers and, whoever else was there. So all in all, the social aspect of high school was probably the best part of high school for me. And I'm assuming it is for all you guys too.
Yeah.
It's just the best part of high school. You do the work to get through it. You have fun. That's the rest of the time.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
yep.
You being like a businessman and
Mhm.
owning your own business in Burlington, how do you think that that BHS could improve?
Okay. I love this question. I actually mentioned it to your dad before you got here, because it's a great question in terms of my opinion of not only BHS but just the town of Burlington in general. Okay. And I don't want this to sound bad, and you guys may have seen it or experienced it or will experience, but there's this weird thing in this town and even at the high school where sometimes success is not looked upon favorably.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
That's a
it's
good-
almost like, I'm going to use Jacob as an example. Okay,
Go for it.
Jacob becomes extremely good at something, starts making money, and instead of the town or people in the town starting to support them, what you start hearing is people back talking him or saying negative things about him or just weird stuff like that. Okay, this town wants to change, but there's a group of people in this town who don't want the change. So they'll do everything, they'll talk negatively about change and stuff like
Right.
that. So the thing I would say is the best thing you can do to improve BHS or to improve the town of Burlington in general is just support change. Don't look
Right.
at somebody's success as a negative. Embrace it. Find out what they did, learn from the people who are successful.
Right.
That's probably the biggest thing I can tell you guys is to embrace that change, embrace the success, and be supportive, because you might be the one who's the successful one, and suddenly you got people turning on you
Right.
because you're successful. And it doesn't make any sense to me. I always use the example, if I drive a nice pickup truck, okay? My pickup truck, nobody ever thinks twice about it. But if
Yeah.
I drove a Mercedes Benz, which costs just about as much as my pickup truck does,
Oh.
people would freak out.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's this whole premise, it's this whole concept of success.
Yeah.
So embrace it, be as successful as you can possibly be, for anybody out there listening, and just do what you love. Be who you are. You're living in a time right now where you can be who you are. So, best advice I can give you.
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest, I don't want to say like controversial topics we've talked about, but like most backlash we've got for a topic of all time is probably school lunch.
School lunches.
School lunches. And us talking about school lunches. So, what was your favorite school lunch?
Okay.
Back in the day?
Okay. So, I got a lot of favorite school lunches,
Oh.
believe it or not. So, back in 1989, when I graduated from high school, BHS used to have a milkshake machine.
No
Oh.
way.
Yes.
Oh,
So, I don't remember what it was. Let's say it's $1. For $1, you could get a chocolate milkshake at lunch.
dude.
Okay.
Wow.
Bring that back.
They had burritos that were deep fried burritos.
What?
And they were fantastic.
They had a deep fryer?
Yeah, they had a deep fryer. And
Oh.
they had deep fried burritos. They also had taco salads that you could order like off the a la carte line, with had Fritos in them and hamburger and cheese and lettuce and beans and stuff. That was delicious.
That's making me sad.
All right, and final topper, guys, is they had fresh pie.
Oh,
They did not.
What?
They did.
Yeah, they did. So they had a chocolate cream pie with a marshmallow topping on it.
That's so.
That was like 50 cents. So, for a good day at lunch, I could have a couple of burritos, a milkshake, and a piece of chocolate cream pie. So
That's unreal.
yeah. And I don't know what you guys get nowadays for lunches.
Now
but
we get fish sticks and
we had fish sticks and turkey and gravy
And
and
cheese
stuff
pizza
like that.
in a bag.
Okay, we did not have that.
In a plastic bag.
So apparently, when I went to school, they were still making food fresh for you every day. But
deep fryer?
Yeah.
I cannot believe they had a deep fryer. That is
yeah,
unreal.
I believe those burritos were deep fried because they were delicious.
That's crazy.
And like I said, I've lived in a few places. I've never had a burrito that tasted exactly like that. It was they were just great.
There's
I don't
something
know what
about
it was.
there's something about those school cafeterias, man. They just give you that little something.
Little something. It's like grandma's love,
Yeah, absolutely.
Grandma's cooking. It can't be matched. So, but yeah, I mean, if you guys were looking to make a change, try to bring the milkshake machine back.
Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah, we're gonna definitely try and talk to someone to bring that back.
That'd
Yeah.
be crazy.
I can't even believe.
That'd be so good.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
Milkshake
just-
machine.
It was literally like a Frosty machine almost. It was a pre-made milkshake. You just pull the handle, boom, chocolate milkshake for $1.
Although imagine what kids would do now with there'd be milkshake everywhere.
Oh, there was
Yeah,
milkshake
school.
everywhere.
Yeah.
The cafeteria was not always the most cordial place to be.
Pristine.
No.
Probably not.
No, there was a few food fights and stuff like that. So, but milkshakes, get yourself some milkshakes.
All right, well, thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Marvin, for coming on with us. Don't forget to check out the socials at BHS
At
Podcast.
the BHS Podcast.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.